everybody, I'm Lorie from Dee's. It's that season, but it's always time to learn how to make a bow. So we get a lot of requests and a lot of comments about, I don't know how to make a bow. Well, we're going to show you how quick and easy it is. So for the first demo to show you how to make a bow, I pulled this ribbon and we're just going to put one color ribbon in our bow for now. So this is a really pretty black and white polka dot, and it is a one-sided ribbon. So I did that on purpose just so you can, it makes it easier to show you which way that you're going and that you do need to twist or not twist. So when you start out making your bow, you need to decide how long of a streamer you would like. So we're just going to drop down and make a streamer, and then you want to gather up your ribbon just like so. Now, a lot of people tell me that I make a bow like a left-handed person. Something funny with the way I learn things, I guess. But, so what you need to do is you need to figure out which hand you're most comfortable with holding the bow and which hand is going to do all of the work. So we're going to start out with our tail. And the secret to a good bow is all in the pinching. So if I went like this, obviously, you're not going to see the pretty side of the ribbon. That's the reason why we call these twisted bows. So you're simply going to twist or flip your ribbon. And I'm going to go forward. We're taking everything forward. When you go forward, it tends to make your bows more fluffy and full this way versus going behind. So I've caught that. I gathered it in the middle, and I have my first loop. So again, we want to make sure the right side of the ribbon is showing. So we're going to twist or flip, make our next loop, and pinch and gather it. And just hold it all in this hand, and this hand's doing the work. So in the beginning, you'll just have to kind of get used to making sure that your loops are pretty comparable in size. So you could always just pull your loops up like so, but I promise you it will get better every time and you'll be able to just know right away. So if we stopped right now, we would actually have a bow. We could trim this off and we would have a tail on each side and a loop on each side, and we could wrap our wire around the middle there and it would all stay together. So that's the important part. What you do to one side, you have to do the other side and keep going around the world while you're making it. So again, we're going to make this a little fuller. So we're going to twist or flip, make our loop, and pinch and gather and push it under our finger. Again, so now I'm going to try to go in a crisscross motion so that what I've done to this side will appear on the same side. So I'm going to flip and pinch and gather right under my finger. So as you can see, again, if we wire this off where my fingers are, now you've still got two tails, and now you've got two loops. So really easy. So the way you get your fullness is you could keep going side by side, or you can start adding loops on top, and that's what's going to give you the fullness of your bow. So I'm going to flip, pinch, and gather. I'm going to go across from that because I'm kind of going diagonal now. I'm going to flip, pinch, and gather. So again, if we stop right now, we have a streamer on each side, and we have 3 loops on each side. And you can tell what a difference just adding those loops to the top make as far as the fullness and the prettiness of the bow. So you could stop right now, or you could quit. So on this, we are going to stop, and we're going to say, okay, now this is about a 3-yard bow. So keep that in mind. This is about a 3-yard bow. And we take our cloth covered wire, which is available on our site. This is really great wire. It comes in lots of colors. But what is so nice about it, it's called cloth cover because it has a little tiny thread that is wrapped around that wire. And you can grip it nice and tight. And that's really important in keeping your bow cinched together really well in the center. So I'm going to cut our streamers. Now, of course, I like those pretty V-cuts. You could also just do an angle cut, just like so. So it's your choice. Now, you can leave your bow like this, just nice and fluffy. And if you're putting it in something, you don't even really notice where that's cinched with the wire in the middle. But if you would like to have a bow that has that cute little loop in the center, I'll show you how you do that. So we're just going to cut a piece, 3 or 4 inches long maybe. So we've got this piece, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to roll it up like a tube, just like so. We're going to take the back and we're just going to pinch and gather that where we've put it together in our tube. And we're going to lay it right in the center on top of where we've gathered with our wire. It's just laying right in the middle there. And then I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to run my wire, that one back through, and this one up through the loop. And out the other end. And then again, we're just going to twist it nice and tight. And that's how you make those cute little center loops. And you have a beautiful bow made up, all ready to go. And the great thing about this wire is you can just use this to wire this to your project, to your wreaths, anything that you're doing. And it holds up really nice. It will last you a long time. It just does really well. So that is how to make just a basic cute bow. So next, we're going to do the same thing again, but this time we are going to mix some colors. So again, I'm going to take my black, and what you can do is again, decide how long you want your tail, and drop your tail, and then pinch and gather up where you're ready to start your bow. So I'm going to flip, pinch, and gather. Now, if you're going to do 2 ribbons, this is a really easy way to do your 2 ribbons. You know, you could make 2 totally separate bows and stack them on top of each other, but the colors don't get intermixed as well, so it's much prettier if you can make your bow simultaneously using both ribbons, because then the colors get dispersed nicely. So again, I'm going to drop my tail. So you can decide, maybe you want this one to be a shorter tail, maybe you want it to be a long tail, maybe you want it to be even longer. That's totally your choice. So I'm going to go in here right next to my black and white and pinch and hold that right in there, right next to it in the center. So I'm going to take my red. Again, this is a one-sided ribbon, so we have to flip, pinch, and gather. So we have our loops for one side. Now this is where I'm a little bit weird. I'm a little bit picky. I like my things to be intermixed nicely. So across from it, I'm going to take my red this time, and we're making our loop there. And you can see we're going to kind of form an X, and then we're going to pick up our black, and we're going to put our black across. So what we did to one side, we did to the other side. But you can see, if we wanted to stop right now, the colors are kind of dispersed. You don't have all of your blacks here and all of your reds up here. So that's the part that I like. I like to make sure that I'm kind of changing them up so that the colors are spread. So you could stop right here. Of course, again, you've got 2 tails over there, 2 tails over here, 2 loops, 2 loops. But we're going to keep going and make this a little fuller. So I'm going to pick up my red again, and I'm going on top of my black and white. And then I'm going to pick up my black and white and make that loop. So we're going to go across. So I'm going to take my black and white, twist, pinch and gather, pick up my red, pinch and gather. So there you have a mixed bow. You could keep going and adding some more if you'd like. If you wanted to add another ribbon, a third ribbon, you could do that. So again, I'm just going to wire this off. You could make this fuller. This particular bow here is going to be about a 4-yard bow. So you always want to keep in mind an idea of what size. So if you're making bows for your tree, there's no right, there's no wrong. It's all personal preference. But you just want to make sure that when you're out purchasing your ribbon for that, that you think about how many bows you might want and how big you want your bows. Because there's nothing worse than running out of ribbon when you're in the middle of your project and then going back and not being able to get it because it's gone. So we're going to trim these off. And again, you want to put your cuts into your tails. Now, it is totally your option. When you don't put that center loop, like we put in this bow, in these fluffy bows, then they tend to stay fuller looking. We could put the loop in there, but as you can see, when we go to put that center loop in there, it is going to kind of flatten it out. So when I want a full bow, I tend to not put that center loop in there. And then you just want to go back and fluff up your loops and make them all pretty. And again, you can keep adding loops until it's nice, has a few more loops. The more you add, the more ribbon it's going to take. When you choose your ribbons, I love to kind of mix up my shapes. So you could use 2 wide ribbons and a narrow, 2 narrow ribbons and a wide. But it just helps to kind of break it up so you can see everything that you're using and it doesn't get muddled looking. So it just takes a little practice. I promise you it's going to get there and you're just going to be amazed at how well it's going to work. So check it out. Start with wired ribbon. I highly suggest that because it's a little bit easier to make it stand up and look beautiful. So that's bow making. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more creative ideas from Dee's.